Welcome back. OpenAI just closing a new $40 billion funding round. It's the largest private tech funding round on record, bringing its valuation to a whopping $300 billion. Yesterday, I spoke exclusively to one of OpenAI's biggest competitors, the CEO of Anthropic, Dario Amodei, at AIG's Investor Day. We talked about the partnership between those two companies, along with Anthropic's deals with Amazon and Google and competition with China's DeepSeek. But first, I asked about the company's rapid growth. Have a listen.
It's really been enormous. In 2024, the revenue run rate increased by a factor of 10x, from roughly 100 million to roughly $1 billion. In this quarter, if we were to extrapolate the rate for the whole year, it would be something more like 20x. I don't expect it to keep up this rate, but I think what powers this is, in an ordinary business, even one that's a high growth startup, the growth is powered by diffusion of an existing technology, or at most one that is slowly changing. Here we have their underlying improvements to the technology that come out month by month, together with the technology diffusing to new business applications. So when you kind of sum those two exponentials, you get an exponential that's very fast.
What did DeepSeek tell us?
DeepSeek, I wrote a post about DeepSeek, about when it came out. I think the idea that it was something new and totally different from what any previous AI company had done, I think that idea is overblown. The cost of producing an AI model of a given level of intelligence or quality has been going down for some time. DeepSeek's another point, just another point on that graph. And people have been spending more and more in spite of that decrease in cost in order to get models that are smarter and smarter. What I do think was significant about DeepSeek is that it was, for the first time, there was a company in China that was able to draw points on that curve comparable to the points that have been drawn by U.S. companies. And so I think that's significant from a geopolitical and national security perspective, and we should take it seriously. They had some talented engineers.
But you don't think it changes anything about the hundreds of billions of dollars that are being spent on compute and data centers and chips?
For better or for worse, those trends have been in place for years. They're not changing. It is completely compatible that to build a given quality intelligence of model, the cost goes down, but models and intelligence are so valuable that therefore the cost, the price that we are paying to train these models goes up and up. Those two things are perfectly compatible.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about the landscape, because you're such a big partner with Amazon, they're a minority investor. How should we think about the turf war between Amazon and Alphabet and Meta and ChatGPT? And how are you helping Amazon in terms of market share? Is it going to be winner take all?
Yeah, we think of the clouds as partners, right? They provide us compute, and then we produce models, and then the two of us deploy models together. So we're partnering with whoever we can, right? We have a large partnership with Amazon. We also have a large partnership with Google through GCP.
They're an investor too.
And we provide models to both of them. Our thinking on this is, look, as I said before, a lot of the barrier here is not necessarily the technology, but diffusing that technology as widely as possible. And for each surface, whether it's our own first-party surface, whether it's AWS, whether it's GCP, different sets of customers are better able to use each of those surfaces. And so we just want to make our model available on as many surfaces as possible so that as many customers can use it, and we can get Claude into the hands of as many customers as we can.
How do you select which partners you're going to work with?
Well, we spend a lot of time upfront getting to know one another. And for me, it's very important. There's a lot of criteria, but one is my relationship with the CEO, make sure that we're aligned in terms of what we're trying to do together, because the best partnerships you learn as you progress. The other is, the investment that they're going to put into the software we're going to be using. In this case, with Dario and the large language models, they continue to advance that and its effectiveness within our organization. Do they have the appetite to work with us on some prototypes and try to actually test it to see its success? And so I think that has been a big part of how we built our ecosystem and how we've actually evolved together.
Always interesting to hear the use case applications in different industries. This one was insurance, which we don't talk about that much, of how they're using large language models to make underwriting smarter.